I'm sitting here making my coffee this morning, and it's a few things on my heart. But first thing I've been thinking about was this question that the Lord had asked me a couple of days ago. When the Lord asks you something, it just tends to stick with you when you're pondering. And what He asked me was, is your faith satisfied? Is your faith satisfied? And then He went on to say, blessed are those who have not seen but still believe. And I had to go and see where that's at. And that particular verse is in Luke 20 and 29. But I went and read a little bit more about that. And as I was reading, it brought up my boy Thomas, right? And I know we all call him Doubting Thomas, but in my opinion, we are all Doubting Thomas. At least Thomas was real enough to say what he was feeling. But anyway, it was right after Christ had died. And all the disciples were, talking about their experiences. And Thomas was feeling some type of way. He was like, listen, I don't believe it. Until He comes and I put my finger in the hole, then I don't believe it. And a couple of days later, Jesus comes to him. And when he sees him, Thomas sees him, the Lord tells him to do just what He said he needed to believe. And then He tells him, blessed are those who have not seen and believe. And then I remember, or in that moment, it got me to thinking, what does it take for me to believe God? What does it take for me to believe God? Is that all to it? That I have to see something? That I have to have some crazy, grandiose experience? Do I have to see angels and experience putting my finger in the wounds? Or is my faith enough? And then I realized that we've been hoodwinked to believe, right? We've been hoodwinked to think that the most greatest experience with God is to have these crazy supernatural moments, which are amazing. And I have had one. I've had a few of them. But what I realize is that the greatest thing of all is to be able to walk with Him. It's the fact that we can walk with Him daily. We can talk with Him daily. We can pray to Him and He responds back. That's the greatest thing. Not just momentary experiences. And I realize we've been hoodwinked to believe that God is just reduced to moments. He's not a father looking for visitation rights. He's a father who wants to be present in our lives. And we have begun a culture of being unsatisfied. We want all of these things to satisfy our faith, when at the end of the day, He's enough. He's enough. So I guess the question is today is to ask yourself, am I satisfied in my faith? And this has nothing to do with your church or your pastor or anything like that. This literally has to do with your faith and your relationship with Christ. Is He enough? Is He enough?